What if I told you your brain is already wired to keep you stuck in negativity, and that you could rewire it, not in years, not in months, but starting today, with 3 simple steps? Because by the end of this video, you won't just understand why your mind spirals into fear, doubt, and self-sabotage. You'll walk away with a system that carves new neural pathways, creates a success mindset, and plants the roots of unstoppable confidence. Right now, your brain probably feels like Velcro for the negative experiences and Teflon for the positive. You wake up with the weight of yesterday's failures. A win disappears in seconds, but a single criticism lives rent-free for years. You've tried forcing yourself to think positive, but it felt fake. When I tried to just keep my head up and thinking positive, it felt like painting over mold. And the longer you've lived with those grooves, the deeper they've cut. You know what the first method for rewiring for positivity is? You have to start savoring positive experiences that you do have. Let me go over a few more things just to make the point, and then we'll get into the 3 practical things you can do to transform your life. First thing is, positive thinking isn't about blind optimism, it's about neuroplasticity. Your brain physically rewires itself based on what you focus on. As psychologist Rick Hansen says, neurons that fire together wire together. If you feed fear, you carve fear. If you feed confidence, you carve confidence. Marcus Aurelius wrote it 2,000 years ago. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. And William James, the father of psychology, echoed it. The greatest discovery of my generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind. The greatest authorities our species has ever known will tell you that being discerning in your current circumstances while being hopeful for the future is the best way to live life. But it's not just that. I'm going to give you methods to instantly rewire negative situations into positive ones so that they don't linger in your mind and make you suffer. Think about a soldier who comes home after war. A slammed door triggers panic. Why? Because the brain wired a sound to danger. I'm not talking about PTSD either, because that's a completely different thing. Imagine walking into a room and instantly remembering gratitude, power, clarity. Viktor Frankl, who survived Auschwitz, said, "Between stimulus and response there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response." That choice is where rewiring begins. Alright, let's get started for real. Step 1, savor. You know what it's like to bite into something delicious? When something good happens, a compliment, a smile, a win, don't rush past it. Your old wiring wants to dismiss it. It wants to reinforce the old reality and have you believe things like, "This won't last, I don't deserve this, it was an accident, they probably didn't mean that anyway." Instead, pause, breathe, let it sink in for 10 seconds. Picture it burning into your mind. Rick Hansen calls this taking in the good. It's like pouring concrete into new grooves. These even small positive experiences will be the new path you take from now on. Do not dismiss them. Step 2, reframe everything. When a negative thought shows up that makes you feel like you're failing or things are barreling towards disaster, don't fight it. Fighting makes it stronger. Instead, just notice it. Say something like, "Well, that happens sometimes, and it's happening right now." Then completely reframe the whole situation. Ask yourself, if this were happening for me instead of to me, what might it be teaching me? If this negative situation were actually just a stepping stone toward your success, what purpose does the stone serve? Don't force the answer, just let your brain notice one possibility. That's it. 10 seconds. In that tiny moment, you've already shifted from being a victim to taking ownership of your response. And that's huge. Sia's victim is a low vibrational energy. It's fear, shame, and guilt. By taking 5 seconds to reframe the situation with that simple question, you've already moved up the vibrational scale from the lower vibrations to one of the highest, neutrality and acceptance. Please don't forget this. Write it down, commit it to memory or something, because it will change your life forever. Marcus Aurelius did this daily in meditations. Cognitive behavioral therapists do it with patience. It's not denial either, because you're training your brain to stop assuming the worst. The next one is my personal favorite and honestly, super powerful. Step 3, identity script. Every night write one sentence in the present tense, describing the kind of person you want to become. It's not just an affirmation, but a wiring and a discovery of who that person actually is. You familiarize yourself with it, and then you become it. Repetition is key. It doesn't need to take too long, but you should give it a good 10 minutes to let it sink in. William James said the brain is plastic even into old age, but identity is the lever. When you declare who you are, you teach your nervous system to expect it. I used to let negative thoughts eat me alive. But the day I started savoring small wins, literally just holding on to them for 10 seconds, I felt my brain shift. That was the first time I believed rewiring was real. It's not the experience per se, but the amplification of it that makes a huge difference. You tell yourself over and over again how nice your life is, even if sometimes you have to deal with some shit in order to get to it. That decision is called positivity. This isn't about faking positivity, it's about becoming the kind of person whose default wiring leans toward opportunity instead of disaster. Someone whose nervous system expects resilience, someone who doesn't abandon reason or discernment, but doesn't abandon themselves either. Did you hear that? There are people out there who abandon positive thinking and call themselves realists because they don't actually understand either. Let's recap: positive thinkers are those who don't abandon reason and discernment but don't abandon themselves either. If you condemn yourself and cap your potential because of some silly idea called being realist, you made a big mistake. So let me ask you, who are you when you stop telling the same old story? Who are you when you stop rehearsing failure and start rehearsing power? Close your eyes for a second. Imagine dropping that story like a heavy coat. Feel the air hit your skin. The lightness you feel is called possibility. If you want to make this ritual stick, add novelty. Change your route to work. Try a new food. Talk to someone new. Novelty wakes up your brain, forces fresh wiring, and makes savoring, reframing, and scripting even more powerful. That's why Jim Quick tells you to brush your teeth with your non-dominant hand. Brushing your teeth with your dominant hand is so habitual for us we can do it drowsy, sick, drunk, or whatever. But it's way harder with your non-dominant hand and forces your brain to pay attention. You can use the power of novelty anytime you're trying to rewire your brain. And remember, your brain rewires fastest with action. Don't just think gratitude, speak it. Don't just imagine confidence, move like it. Every action is a brick in the architecture of your mind. No action that aligns is too small. You're purchasing real estate in your new life with that action. When I think about you rewiring your brain for positivity, it's more about becoming someone who believes in themselves, rather than some fake cheery person who's never sad or upset about things. So, if I could leave you with anything, it would be this: your potential is out there, and whatever that may be, you're allowed to take the steps towards to achieve it. But remember, it's always an identity thing. Any kind of growth is always identity first, then action, then results. So this is the part where I remind you that if this feels like a good home for you, like the video and subscribe. And in the comments, let me know the thing you hate most about fake positive people, the ones who don't do it right. Also, there are 2 videos on the screen right now, you'll want to watch those too. Until next time.